Big votes tonight for Knox County School Board. Those votes happening about 90 minutes ago, including a vote to approve the school nutrition budget and increases to the prices of school meals. Breakfast will cost an additional 25 cents, and elementary, middle, and high school lunches will cost an additional 50 cents. Leaders explaining the need now to point to the rising cost of food and matching prices seen across the area at other schools. Now, according to the proposal, it would bring in over $300,000 in school revenue. Board members tonight also voted to pass the $700 million general purpose budget proposal for the next fiscal year. It was unveiled last week. That's around 3% more than the school system's current budget. Knox County Schools saying it made strategic reductions equivalent to cutting 23.5 positions in the district office. School leaders say that while the last 3 years were characterized by restructuring, reimagining, and innovating, the new budget will be grounded in stability and predictability. Board members also heard a request from a school bus contractor hoping to have the district's transportation budget upped. John Llewellyn of JLL Transport cited higher costs for new school buses and increased prices for lots of different services. Now, while Llewellyn notes progress has been made when it comes to reducing the shortage of bus drivers, he says higher costs of living without a matching increase in pay could make it tough to hang on to the experienced and skilled employees. From one big budget to another, Knoxville City Council members take up Mayor India Kincannon's budget request. It is a $477 million proposal. Mayor Kincannon unveiled her budget on Friday during her State of the City address. Now, most of the spending will go to first responders, including $101 million for police and fire departments, with targeted salary increases for firefighters, a move designed to bring Knoxville fire crews up to market-level salaries. Affordable housing is also a focus, with more than $8 million proposed for ongoing projects. Other funds are going to fight homelessness, repair roads, among other initiatives. And another point of focus for the budget proposal would mean putting money toward maintenance work at the Knoxville Civic Auditorium and Coliseum. During Sunday's episode of Tennessee This Week, Mayor Kincannon said this is a distinct need.
And a lot of these are going to be investments that the general public can't see, in plumbing and HVAC and boilers and kitchen and other types of equipment like that. But the Civic Auditorium is needs some gussying up and attention, and but it's got really strong bones. It's a beautiful design, and it's only 60 years old. So I think that it deserves saving.
Here's a live look from tonight's City Council meeting right now. The mayor's budget proposal requires 2 votes to pass, and we will be sure to let you know what City Council decides coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. All right, new developments for UT students caught up in a big national issue. 6 News has now learned all 9 International University of Tennessee students whose visa statuses were changed have now had their legal statuses restored. The initial changes under the Trump administration put the 9 students at risk for deportation. But on Friday, the federal government reversed the termination of legal statuses for international students across the country. This after a number of court challenges were filed. As for the 9 UT students who have had their legal status restored, UT says International Student and Scholar Services is working with them on next steps, also thanking the community for the support it has shown. Next on our list for you tonight, a family facing tragedy, now just trying to raise awareness. Their 3-year-old son died last year, and the family blames exposure to the bacterium in the waters of Douglas Lake. Now, the little boy named Damon choked on water while swimming and died in the hospital 1 week later. While their son's death was ultimately caused by septic shock, in a letter to the family, their doctor explained they believe his illness was caused by a bacterium called Chromobacterium violaceum. Now, according to the Knox County Health Department, this is incredibly rare. They tell us while it is common to come across it in subtropical and tropical areas, only 150 cases have ever been reported.
And it is one death, but you don't think it can happen to you, but it can. And I think it should be your choice if you let your kids get in it, and you need the option to know that it's there. Because, if you know it's there, maybe you don't want to let them in. And if you know it's there and you do get in, then you knew.
Damon's mom tells us despite the bacterium's rarity, she and her family are hoping to bring awareness to its potential danger in lakes and rivers, especially as the temperatures now start to warm. But the health department tells us when it comes to rare cases like these, the severity of the infection could be coupled with an underlying condition. Big deadline looming is next as our top story list rolls along for you tonight. By now, you've probably heard about Real ID and efforts to have states around the country step up the requirements for getting an identification card. A Real ID, which is marked with that gold star, will be needed to board a domestic flight or enter certain federal buildings beginning next Wednesday. But you should know this is still optional. If you have a domestic flight coming up but no Real ID, there are alternative documents that you can use, like a passport or a permanent resident card. Now, showing up to the airport without a Real ID doesn't mean you're completely out of luck, but it could lead to some major delays in your travel plans.
They will be directed to additional screening. So we're encouraging people who are in that category to arrive at the airport at least 3 hours before their scheduled departure time.
You know, we looked at available appointments at driver license service centers within an hour drive from downtown Knoxville. The soonest one is in early June, where you see an opening, and you can also try local county clerk's offices. A number of them are partnering with the state right now, including here in Knox County. To get your Real ID, though, you will need proof of U.S. citizenship, like a birth certificate, proof of full Social Security number, or proof of legal status in the U.S., as well as 2 proofs of Tennessee residency, like a utility bill or a paycheck. It's also important to note if your name has changed from what is listed on any of the required documents, you need to bring certified legal documents supporting that name change, and this could include marriage licenses and divorce decrees. All right, wrapping up our big 7 to 7 list for you right now. A new shelter opening in Blount County. Family Promise of Blount County opening the doors now to a static shelter. This shelter has been in the works for about 3 years and serves families that would otherwise, well, be homeless. During a family stay at the shelter, Family Promise works with that family on knocking down barriers, taking classes, and ultimately becoming, well, finding permanent housing. Now, this static shelter will serve 4 families at a time. Then once the family gains the tools they need, they move into a transitional housing complex and then eventually permanent housing, a process that has become all the more challenging since the pandemic.
We just don't have the housing. And so because of that, families that, really need affordable housing, they're not able to get that. Rents that were normally $750 to $900 are now $1,600 to $1,000. Deposits, they want first and last month's rent.
You know, Smith tells us this type of static shelter is the only one in Blount County. We have some new video just into the 6 newsroom. We're getting to see the spot where deputies and THP troopers are investigating what's been described as a serious accident. We brought you word of this crash as breaking news today at 4:30. In this new video, you can see the area around the crash as that investigation is underway. We still don't have any specifics, though, about what happened, but you can see a lot of first responders in that area of Norris Freeway. The wreck and investigation prompted deputies to close Norris Freeway, Highway 441, at Mountain Road, urging drivers to try to find another route. Now, at last check, that closure had not been lifted. Of course, we'll keep you posted as more information comes to light.